Welcome back to the Deep Dig Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, my other host right over there.
What's up? It's Dee. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Well, let's shift to a former Pete Carroll quarterback in Russell Wilson because he was named the starter this season for the New York Giants. And even though they have Jameis Winston, they have Jaxson Dart there. Were you surprised at all by this move?
No, I think it's the right move, if I'm going to be honest. I think Russell Wilson, you have to give it a shot. I mean, I don't think he had a glowing review from the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it was enough to be like, hey, what do we have here? And I think with Jaxson Dart, I think you want to slow play that. You want to slow play that as much as you can. If he can come in with maybe 2 or 3 games left at the end of the season, that is the perfect scenario for a rookie quarterback. You play some meaningless games, you get in there when it doesn't really matter, and you get to showcase your talent. If you're thrown in there early, it's Caleb Williams. It's, you know what I mean? Hey, we're not really ready, especially, I'm not a big Jaxson Dart guy. But I think that he has all of the traits to be an NFL quarterback. I think that he could use some time in a program, getting used to things, not being the guy, not having that pressure. I think slow playing it is the right way to go with the New York Giants. And I think you have 2 guys ahead of him that have already proven to be NFL quarterbacks. I think you had to play Russ first. If you went Jameis first, I don't think you go from Jameis to Russ, then to Jaxson Dart. I think you go, if Jameis was gonna win out the battle, you immediately go Jaxson Dart, and then you have Russ as like a third string, or even you cut Russ.
Yeah, I think we said this coming in that Russell's probably going to start, and then by the end of the year, it'll be Jaxson Dart. If you feel comfortable in your job as the head coach, as Dayball, I think you just roll. If Jaxson Dart is showing flashes, I think you roll with Jaxson Dart from day one, because you don't owe that much money to Russ. You know he's not going to be there for probably past this year. Jameis is a guy that's going to bounce around, so that doesn't really matter. But I think this is a safe play by Daboll to say, let's try to win a couple games with Russ, and then by the end of the year, we'll switch to Dart, and hopefully he shows enough that buys us another year here. But I got to say, if I'm there and I'm saying, hey, we have a chance, this guy's looking special, let's just throw him out there and have him learn on the fly, so that in the second half of the season, we're making a push and we're hoping that he's developing throughout, because I feel comfortable enough to come back next year and build on that. And the fact that Daboll doesn't have that security, I think, is setting Jaxson Dart back a bit.
I'm on the opposite boat as you. I think that this is a security move by Daboll. I think that he knows, hey, I'm going to be here next year. I'm going to save Jaxson Dart. I want him to be in the program for a year before we even think about putting him in. I think this is I thought the opposite of you. I thought that this was a good indicator of where Daboll sits, and Daboll is secure in his job, where he's like, you know what, we can try out a couple of guys and I'm still going to have a job next year.
When you have that veteran presence who you know can win you games, I don't think you're playing it safe when you're rolling out Russell Wilson at this stage of his career. When it's it's a toss-up that you're going to win games with Russell Wilson. So I don't think this is a safe move. I think it's a safer move. I would, if I'm the owner, I would be like, hey, you would think the smart move play would be, we're going to stick you with Jaxson Dart. Now let's develop it over the next at least 2 years and see what you can do. But this just has Daboll trying to win enough games to secure into next year. I think him not winning enough with Russ, and then bringing in Jaxson Dart, they're not winning enough. And then being like, well, fuck Daboll. He's not winning games, so why would I bring him back?
He should have been fired in this offseason then. If you think that he's that big on the hot seat, I don't think you start your clock with a quarterback just to yank the guy after 1 year. I think that they made the pick with Daboll. They're going to stick with Daboll for at least 2 years in this. I think that he is secure in his job. And say what you want about Russ. There's one thing that Russell Wilson of last year had going for him that speaks volumes to what he's going to be doing this year. He had no problem just spamming George Pickens. And who do the New York Giants have they have Malik Neighbors. And Malik Neighbors is such an athlete, and he is a guy that you can just spam it to him and he will take it. He is a guy that I think that he showed tremendous flashes last year. I think with an NFL caliber quarterback of Russell Wilson, I think that we're going to start to see him go more and more into his bag. I think that that match that's a good match for Russell Wilson to have Malik Neighbors. And I'm excited for him to kind of explore what they can do moving forward. I think that that also kind of plays into it. Like I would, if I'm Dable, I'm looking at him like, yeah, I feel comfortable with that duo on the field.
I'm on the op. I think yes, that's going to be a decent combo. Is Russell Wilson to Neighbors? The rest of the offense, who knows? But I think that's why you just go Jaxson Dart. Why not? You have a security blanket in Neighbors, and the defense. That Giants defense is going to be kind of scary this year. With all the pass rushing ability they have, I know the back end's not going to be amazing, but all the pass rushing ability, I think they had a rookie back there at running back last year that showed some flashes. Neighbors, I think you have enough to say, let's throw Dart out there and let's develop him now. And I know our big thing with Dart is like the mental, but what's better than getting him out there and having him feel the speed of the game and learn how to process that without having a hook over him? You're not going to get pulled, Dart, because you're our guy for the future. Just let him go out and learn. And he's either going to turn into Bo Nix or he's going to turn into Will Levis. I think that's where
And
he's
that's
going
the thing. Like, you don't have to have him go out there and be Will Levis. You know what you can do? You can sit him. You can slow play it. You can get
He's
him
not going to learn.
tied to a vet that knows how the NFL works. Whether it be whoever he wants to choose, whether it be Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston, both of them have had long careers in the NFL. Both of them knows what it is to be a starter and a franchise guy. You need that with these, like, and not every quarterback is going to go out there and be, hey, you know what, we're struggling, and he ends up winning the job. Okay, cool. We can't deny that he earns this playing spot. Then fine. But I'm not going to sit there and rush this guy who we have bet that is going to be the franchise guy of the New York Giants.
Jaxson Dart's going to play this year irregardless of what goes on, because it's either going to be, hey, we're not going to compete for a title, we're like middle of the road, so let's get Jaxson Dart out there and see. Or it's going to be, hey, we look terrible out there, we need to throw Jaxson Dart in the mix so that we can save our job and say, like, well, look what we can do with him next year. I think there's going to be a middle ground where it's like, hey, listen, we're at 8 wins right now. I think we don't have to play Jaxson Dart this year. That would be kind of a crazy concept for me for the Giants this year. Do you think there's a world where he doesn't play this season?
I think there's a world where the rush train gets off the track and people can't deny Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston is, I know that the franchise will probably be like, yo, we got to play our rookie. But I think that, Jameis Winston can stave that off. And again, I'm in the business of, like, let's slow play the rookie. That's why we got him in the first round. We add the extra year to the contract. We can really kind of, slow play it and give him the best shot to win. But I understand your thought process of wanting to play them, but we can't microwave a guy. We can't sit out there and just nuke it and hope like things are the best. Oh, he's getting his licks. Okay, but that also can cripple a guy. You know what I mean?
But
like that
you
can...
also, here's the thing. Here's my thing. John Mara has put his trust in to these guys who lost Saquon Barkley and like bet the house on Daniel Jones. Now they've bet the house on Jaxson Dart. You don't think there's going to be a moment where he walks down there and says, I need to see what you guys can do with this guy so I know what we're going to do this offseason. I fully believe Dable is in danger and the GM. I think they're both in danger, because how would you go into this offseason not knowing where you stand with Jaxson Dart and not knowing if this coaching staff is able to develop him? Develop the quarterback in New York.
What do you mean Daniel Jones was...
Tommy DeVito.
Oh, God.
And Russ is not going to be this like amazing mentor. I actually just watched the Pablo Torre episode where he interviews Nate Tice, who was Russell Wilson's backup at Wisconsin. And he spilled all the stories about how Russell would like ask him what to say in interactions. And he would like kind of like be his speechwriter behind the scenes. And then he would, I guess there was like a Rihanna song that he wanted on the playlist. And she says something like about drinking Jameson. And he was like, that's kind of weird that Russ wants this on the playlist because he doesn't drink. And I guess one day Russell asked him, like, what is it about Jameson? But like dead serious, like earnestly. He was like, it was like a guy who came to Earth and was learning how to be human. And that kind of like, I could totally see how that has followed him his NFL career.
I mean, he's a peculiar guy. I don't know what else to tell you. He is a peculiar guy.
It's a great watch. Go watch it with Paulo Torre Finds Out. Do you have
Okay.
anything else on this situation?
No, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see this quarterback carousel play out. I want to see Jameis Winston. I do. I want to see it.
I just wish he went somewhere where he'd be the starter right away, but who knows?
Yeah, I think as soon as they signed Russell Wilson, in my book, it was Russell Wilson's job, unless he got hurt. I think
Mr.
that was
Unlimited.
unlimited, dangerous.